Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Catalina Gillies.
And I'm Ryan Bonazzo. A third person has now been arrested in connection with a homicide in Westfort, but not for the murder itself.
Thunder Bay police have charged a city man with arson and damage to property, and police say more charges may still be coming as the investigation by the Major Crimes Unit continues. The body of 33-year-old Jordan LaPointe was found inside his Frederica Street home after first responders were called to a fire and explosion at the residence back on October 3rd. 5 days later, city police confirmed the death was a homicide, and LaPointe's family recently put up signs on the home calling for justice. Yesterday, police announced first-degree murder charges against 19-year-old Shane Cabral and 20-year-old Michael Gomez, both from the Ottawa area. The third person arrested, 22-year-old Zachary Sura, is not facing homicide charges. He's accused of being involved only in the fire and explosion at the home. Sura remains in custody pending his next court appearance.
Final submissions were presented today in the Patrick O'Keefe second-degree murder trial. The 26-year-old man is charged with the death of another man in 2017. 18-year-old Braden Munoz was found dead on the morning of August 6th of that year in the Bush area near the Marina Park overpass. City police arrested O'Keefe just over a month later. Lawyers for the Crown and defense presented their closing arguments today on the 8th and final day of the trial. The Crown admits its evidence is circumstantial, but it shows O'Keefe was seen with Munoz the evening before his body was found and that he lied to police about them being together. The victim's DNA was also found under O'Keefe's fingernails. The defense counters by saying all the evidence is speculation and therefore raises a reasonable doubt. The matter will return to court at the end of November to set a date for judgment.
Thunder Bay Fire, Rescue, and City Police dealt with another apparent arson case today. Firefighters were called to this abandoned car lot off Simpson Street just after 6 o'clock this morning. A total of 9 vehicles were discovered on fire. The blazes were all extinguished and no injuries were reported. Fire officials say they've turned over the investigation to City Police. The area is located directly behind Northern Windows. Store manager Christine St. Amand says she was frightened by what happened as the car lot is also used as a makeshift homeless encampment.
It's scary. There is a community, actually, of people living back here. And it's really sad to see because it's a safety issue for them, for us. I literally have seen them come out and, with their backpacks on, heading to wherever is for their day.
St. Amand says she spoke with city bylaw officials about the situation. She hopes something will be done to remove the cars, both for the safety of her employees and the safety of those using the lot as a place to live.
4 people have been arrested, including 2 Toronto teenagers, in connection with a home takeover on Ogden Street. The accused are suspected of using the property to traffic drugs. Police became aware of the activity when they were dispatched to the home on Tuesday afternoon following reports of a woman in medical distress. The 4 accused are charged with possession of cocaine and oxycodone for the purposes of trafficking. The 2 Toronto teens also face charges related to the home takeover. All 4 have been remanded into custody.
Thunder Bay police have also arrested 5 people following an armed forced entry into an apartment unit in Westfort overnight. It happened on the 200 block of Amelia Street just before 12:30 a.m. According to police, this shotgun was used in the incident. 2 suspects fled when officers arrived. One of them was arrested after a brief struggle, during which a police officer was assaulted. Other arrests were made elsewhere in the apartment building. A 50-year-old Thunder Bay man, as well as 4 people from Toronto, including 3 17-year-olds, now face a slew of weapons charges and other offenses.
It's a project years in the making and at times had some questioning whether it would ever become a reality. But on Wednesday, those notions were put to rest as the Greenstone mine officially broke ground. Dignitaries from across the region were at the mine site in Geraldton to mark the start of construction. Adam Riley was there.
It's incredible. We've been working for this for so long now.
It's been a heck of a ride already, and it's just getting going, so this train is out of the station.
It is no longer considered proposed as the long-awaited Greenstone mine has officially broken ground. Construction has begun on the massive project, which is expected to create 2,100 immediate jobs and bring a major boom into the region. The Geraldton Gold Zone previously supported mines here between 1938 and 1970. It is that legacy through the tailings from those mines that Greenstone Mine will make its fortune, with more than 5 million ounces of gold expected to be produced over the initial 14 years. Among the dignitaries on hand was Minister Greg Rickford, who says mining plays a critical role in the province's economy going forward and will especially benefit Northern Ontario.
The market has come to Northern Ontario for our minerals. We've been able to open or move many mining projects across this region to the starting line for construction or some other major environmental milestone. So we're on the move here.
It has been 14 years since the mine was first proposed, and in late 2019, it looked like the project could have collapsed under litigation between its owners. But when Equinox Gold and Orion Mine Finance Group stepped in and each purchased 50% of the project, that is when things really took off. Greenstone Mayor Renaud Beaulieu says he's still astounded to see the mine move ahead, and he's looking forward to the future.
I got to tell you, it went so fast in the last 6 months when, we had Equinox Gold and Orion come in this venture. It was unbelievable. And with the team they have behind them, wow, we're in good hands and we're going to see a lot of prosperity in our area.
Preliminary construction included building access roads and a temporary water treatment plant in the lead up to this week's ceremony, which will provide a baseline for infrastructure for construction. However, mine GM Eric Lamontagne says there's still a lot of work to be done over the next couple months, including securing the site further.
Because currently we have a lot of access on the highway, and it's not the perfect world, and we'd like to just cut one access to the highway for security. It's important. First objective. Second objective, before Christmas, we'll start to pour 2 buildings. Well, we already select our contractor to do that, and they will mobilize in November, and we'll pour 2 concrete slabs to assemble a pre-engineering building over there.
And while Wednesday's ceremony officially kicks off construction of the mine, it doesn't mean that the clock begins ticking on the 14-year lifespan for the mine. That only begins next fall when the mine completes construction and goes into production. Adam Riley, TBT News.
A weight limit on East Avenue is being proposed to Thunder Bay City Council in an effort to deter transport trucks from parking at County Fair Mall. Council members will be presented with a draft bylaw Monday night that would restrict vehicles weighing more than 10,000 kilograms. It comes in response to a motion from McIntyre Councillor Albert Aiello back in June, which asked city staff to review the feasibility of a weight limit and enforcement options. He says residents in his ward, particularly those near the back of the mall, are furious with the constant noise, pollution, and garbage brought on by the commercial trucks parking just feet away from their homes. Neighbors know the truckers need to stay somewhere, but they prefer a truck stop rather than the mall, which impacts a residential area.
So we're getting trucks parked overnight, running 24 hours a day, dropping loads here, exchanging loads. The diesel fumes at times is so bad that we can't keep our windows open.
You need to have bylaws in place, and you need to have the restriction in place so that can be enforced. Like I said, I'm positive within the trucking community, word gets around pretty quick that you shouldn't be parking here anymore. You're going to get ticketed.
Administration is recommending the bylaw based on Aiello's motion be approved, and he believes there is support around the council table to pass the weight limiter.
Ontario is planning to double maximum fines for long-term care offenses and prohibit convicted rule breakers from working in the sector. The measures are outlined in new legislation tabled today that's aimed at ramping up accountability and improving care for residents. Colin DeMello reports.
COVID-19 has taken the lives of more than 4,000 seniors in long-term care and exposed the awful conditions elderly residents face on a daily basis. Today, the Minister of Long-Term Care is promising that is going to change.
Our plan will make sure that there is accountability, that there is enforcement, and that there is transparency.
Under new legislation tabled today, anyone convicted under the Long-Term Care Act could face increased penalties for non-compliance, between $200,000 to $400,000 for individuals, and between $500,000 to $1 million for corporations, as well as a ban on working or overseeing a long-term care home in the future.
It could also involve a year in jail, right? So there is significant implications.
But how often would that actually happen? The minister acknowledges it has been rare.
You know, there have been penalties under the Provincial Offences Act now for quite some time under the Long-Term Care Act. But there's only been one charge brought in the last 10 years, and that one charge failed.
The key, the minister says, is stronger enforcement. The ministry has beefed up the number of inspectors, and the government is promising one proactive inspection per long-term care home every single year. That's where the province has faced criticism before. The government dialed back the number of resident quality inspections being conducted in homes. There were 27 RQI inspections conducted in 2019, down from 300 the year before.
It was a big mistake. You know, the government cut inspections.
While the legislation looks to overhaul long-term care, what it does not do is address the past 18 months. Members of the opposition say the law should be retroactive, leading to charges for the worst actors during the pandemic.
Are you going to be making this legislation retroactive so that those who were the bad actors, as the Premier calls them, will be punished?
No, there are rules currently in place to deal with that, but this legislation and our plan is really to move forward.
Moving forward, critics say, the model of long-term care needs to be changed, eliminating profits from the sector.
We have an opportunity with many of these beds coming up and homes coming up for renewal of their licenses to transition them from that system into the not-for-profit sector.
The minister says that would mean having to pay out billions of dollars to private corporations to buy out the long-term care homes.
From a moral standpoint, do you feel like there should be anyone making profits off the backs of seniors?
We are concerned in making sure that quality of care and quality of life are the focus. And regardless of the structure of the organization doing it, they can deliver that. And we have hundreds of examples of that around the province.
So more enforcement in the future, but little justice for those who lost so much.
Ontario has also announced it's now expanding its school's Takehome COVID-19 test kit program. By mid-November, all 4,800 public schools in the province, as well as many First Nations or private schools that opt in, will have access to non-invasive PCR test swab kits. Minister of Education Stephen Lecce says this will help keep schools safe and prevent possible COVID-19 outbreaks.
By enabling students to pick up a PCR self-collection kit at school, the program will help address barriers for students who have challenges with quickly obtaining a test at a testing center when they're symptomatic or have been identified as a close contact of a confirmed COVID-19 case. The take-home approach will also provide convenience for parents and for families and help to potentially identify more cases to keep these schools open and safe.
The Ontario government is also mandating a stronger testing requirement for unvaccinated staff. They are now required to present 3 negative COVID-19 tests per week.
Thunder Bay's opioid crisis was brought up at Queen's Park today by local MPP Judith Monteith-Farrell. The NDP member took part in an overdose awareness march last weekend. More than 200 people wore purple and walked 5 kilometers down Arthur Street. The Ford government says it's increased spending for overdose prevention during the pandemic, especially in the north, but Monteith-Farrell maintains it's not enough, and she repeated the call for more detox beds in the city.
Recently, we had 15 critical overdose calls in 2 days in my community. This weekend, I spoke to family members of those affected. They talked about the need for detox beds, treatment, which is not available in our community, aftercare, and supportive housing. They talked about the lives that were cut short and those that they left behind. When will this government take action to support individuals and family in crisis?
So some of the investments include consumption and treatment services. Currently, we're investing $9.4 million for 16 of these sites in need across the province, and this includes a consumption and treatment site located in Thunder Bay. Ontario naloxone program, $22.7 million for that, provides naloxone to Ontarians at risk of opioid overdose and their friends and families.
Northwestern Ontario's first Freshco grocery store officially opened today on North Court Street. The parking lot was full all day as members of the community flooded into the newly renovated store to take advantage of the discounts and full shelves. Danielle Bain has more.
The bright green Freshco store on North Court Street was filled on opening day with customers eager to see what the new local grocer could offer. This location was the longtime home of a Safeway store, a brand also owned by Sobeys. The decision was made last year to convert it to a Freshco, and store owner Brandon Farrow thinks having it in this specific neighborhood will be a huge success.
Freshco is going to work great here because for years people have been asking us for lower food prices, and that's exactly what we're going to deliver, as well as a fresh offering every day.
The new store also has a pharmacy on site offering medication, immunizations, and affordable copay options for seniors. Farrow wants people to know that although it's a new store, the quality of service will still be just as high as it was before.
Our employees are great. We've got over 75 teammates in the store, and almost half of them have years of experience in this location. So with that, they're very comfortable and everything's going very smoothly.
Many of the customers here on opening day used to shop at the Safeway before it closed, so they were pleased to come back to this location and had a great experience doing so.
It was very nice. The store is very clean and everything's set up pretty nice.
Yeah, it was very nice in there, clean, and good help here, very nice. Treated us very nice.
Well, actually, I was surprised there's so many big, beautiful, fresh vegetables along the whole end of the store, you know. It was really quite nice. And they have a big selection of meats and stuff, which is really good because a lot of us seniors have shopped here for a long time when Safeway closed. So it's good to have Freshcos here.
The store commemorated the grand opening with a $2,500 donation to the Regional Food Bank to show their commitment to the community. Going forward, Farrow hopes this, along with some other key commitments, will help ensure that citizens of Thunder Bay continue to return.
We're going to continue to always offer the freshest product at the lowest prices. We're going to price match. We're going to have a double fresh guarantee and an in-stock guarantee as well.
Danielle Bain, TBT News.
Well, Fiona, it's been a pretty dry few days here in Thunder Bay.